Hi, welcome to our third video blog. Today I'd like to talk to you about footwear, and I'm here with Melissa. Melissa works here at the clinic as a massage therapist. You should definitely come see her, and she knows a lot about feet. So a little bit about a history why I got so interested in the particular topic of today is that I had some foot problems about a year ago. And I know that's not good because once you have foot problems, you can get knee problems, back problems. So I knew to do something about it. I had learned a little bit about the wide toe box shoe, but I really didn't know much. So initially I got some running shoes that were a bit more wide. These are called Ultras. And then I still had to go to the podiatrist, and he did some things for me, but then I knew it's like, okay, I got to really do something. So Melissa came along, and she knew a lot about shoes. And so the shoes that we're really talking about, or the footwear we're talking about, are called Zero Drop Wide Toe Box. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit why you are so interested in this and how long you've been interested in it, and what is it about these shoes?
So I would say my journey probably began when I had children. I have two children. My oldest is now 10 and a half. And I've always been interested in the body. Obviously, that's why I became a massage therapist. And I know that for a naturally developing foot, like for my baby at the time, who I just wanted to create the environment for her body to have optimal performance throughout her life.
So it was more for your kids or for yourself?
For my kids initially.
Okay.
I didn't know it was going to be for myself.
Okay.
I know that I was raised, I was barefoot a lot as a child. That was just I was barefoot like all summer.
Yeah, and if you've done that before, you can tell your feet get stronger when you're barefoot.
That's right.
They change. They look healthier. It's not just a tan on your feet if you're tan.
Yeah.
But they look better.
The toe spacing is more natural. You have room between your toes. As feet are shoved into this kind of a shape of a narrow pointed toe, your feet take on that same shape, and then they aren't able to do what the foot is meant to do, because the feet are amazing. They have lots of intrinsic little muscles in the toes, and they're not allowed to do their job if they're smushed into a tiny little foot.
Yeah, and that's kind of what happened to me. I have a wider foot, and I was getting some numbness, and I was getting a little growth on one side, and I knew that was heading the wrong direction.
Absolutely.
So how did you find out about these shoes?
Well, and I just want to say one more thing. It's not just the toe box shape.
Yeah.
It's also the zero drop is critical.
Let's talk about the heel.
Right. So that the difference is there should be no difference between how much distance there is here and here in the forefoot. So that a natural walking, if you have a heel, it's like you're walking downhill all the time. Yeah. Which, as we know, that puts a lot of stress on all of our joints, knees especially, because your muscles aren't taking the shock absorption.
Like the calf.
It's your knees that are taking the shock, which over time that wears things out really fast.
Yeah. So how long have you been wearing these shoes?
Oh, well, over 10 years now, I would say. I started out by just wearing moccasins, which we don't have any of those today, but there's a great company in Corvallis that makes these moccasins.
Oh, I've seen the really nice looking.
Yeah.
And can you tell your feet are healthier and stronger?
Definitely.
I've only had these for like 2 weeks.
Definitely.
And I'll tell you where I got them.
Oh, yeah.
So Melissa knew about this podiatrist that also has a little store at their clinic in Northwest. What's the doctor's name again?
Dr. Ray McClanahan.
Okay, yeah.
At Northwest Foot and Ankle.
They're in the Montgomery building, and you don't have to see the podiatrist if you have, no problems. You can just go buy some shoes there. But for anybody that already has existing problems, or maybe is already wearing a support in their shoe, you might want to see the podiatrist once at least, get an assessment and evaluation, see how you should progress into a better shoe. Because what does this shoe do? It actually because your feet in regular shoes are more atrophied. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
And so by having it more natural shape, this is what I'm understanding. You are creating a stronger feet,
yes,
and therefore, the other joints don't get as much
exactly
used. So, for example, I started with the running shoe, and you can see it's got a pretty thick sole on it, and so
that's about the beefiest they come.
Yeah, so this is probably more like an intermediary shoe, because they told me I can start running on these. I'm like, really?
If you have good form, you can run in those.
But I don't know yet. Look at these. They fit nicely in your suitcase. So there might be a shoe that you wear before you go down to the really flat ones, and to just kind of get your feet in shape. Just like any muscle, it takes time. So the other thing is there anything else you wanted to tell us about?
No, I just to reiterate that you don't want to start all of a sudden running in something like this, for sure, if your feet aren't used to it. You could wear these for everyday wear just to start getting your feet used to it, but do not start running in something like this until your feet are ready, especially if you've been in a really modern, or wearing high heel shoes regularly. You definitely don't want to do that right away.
That's a good point.
You could hurt yourself.
I also got a cute booty. I was like, yeah, I gotta have these.
They're great too.
And I'm surprised that my feet aren't giving me more trouble. Now, I gotta tell you, there's another thing that I'm doing. It's called the melt method. You might have heard of it. The melt method's it's a lot about actually the whole body, but they also have a hand and foot kit, and it's just got these little balls. And they have two different kind of balls. They also have a harder ball. Anyway, you basically, there's like a method to give yourself a foot massage with. So, because perhaps I've been doing that, if you don't get regular massages already, this is great to get the blood flow into all the tissues of your feet and create those healthy feet. And it's just for balance. Your feet are extremely important, and just think in the next 20, 30, 40, however old you are, years, you want to keep that balance. It's super important. All right. Is there anything else you wanted to add to this?
I think that's pretty good.
Well, there you go. We have all the information at the clinic about the melt method. You can also go online for that, or the kind of shoes. I have a list of shoes. These are Lems, Ultras. There's the running shoe, and I mean, there's a whole list.
And the zeros.
Those are called
with an X.
Okay, yeah, but there's a few more. If you have any questions or any questions about the name of the doctor, we'll be happy to answer. Our phone number at the clinic is 503-513-4665. Thanks for joining me, Melissa.
Thank you.
And you guys, see you next time.